Marilyn, when you're ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is a very complicated time in our industry. We sit in a balance of keeping people safe and opening business and trying to stay afloat. I want to sincerely thank the governor for working with leaders in the health industry and the hospitality industry to try and find that balance. This legislation that you're going to sign on today will help restaurant operators have a long-term goal for the industry and give them some strategic planning so that they can find some of this balance. We've been working tirelessly in small business and the Restaurant Association to work with the governor to make sure we're keeping people safe, and we're also beginning to open business in New Jersey. I'm grateful to the governor for continuing to take the accountability of our safety as well as small business into account when making these decisions. This is helping us all to move forward in a very, very safe way. And I want to urge members of the public to be patient with us as we reopen. This is very complicated and it takes a lot of different moving parts to do what we do. So the slower we can go in a safe and balanced way, the most profitable and positive outcome we will have. So I want to introduce the governor and thank you very, very much for what you're doing for our industry.
Marilyn, thank you. That means a lot. I'm honored to, my late mother would say, you're known by the company you keep, and I'm keeping darn good company this morning. So Marilyn Schlossbach, thank you for that. Thank you for the chocolates, by the way. We won't let them go to waste. Thanks for kicking us off, and thank you for your very gracious introduction. I'm also honored to be joined by three rockin' senators, Paul Sarlo, Nellie Poe, and Vin Gopal. To each of you, thank you folks for everything you do as leaders up and down the state, literally. And Paul has a special hat as well as a mayor of Woodridge, so he sees this through both of those lens. I also want to give a shout out to New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association President and CEO, Mary Lou Halverson. And Mary Lou, more on you when you're up to bat to speak. So thank you all and for everything you do. I think Joanne Downey and Eric Hotelling may be listening, so I want to give them a shout out. Tom Bracken, CEO of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce, and Mike Egginton, his executive vice president, I believe, are on. And I know Roy Fryman, Assemblyman Roy Fryman, wanted to be on. No one questions the importance of and by the way, we're gathered here to virtually sign Senate Bill 3340. No one questions the importance of our restaurant industry, not just to our state's economy, but to our identity. Our diversity is our greatest strength, and the foodways and traditions of every culture bring us closer together as one New Jersey family. I don't think any other state in America can make that statement. Over the past year, COVID has attempted to drive our family apart. It has required us to take dramatic and drastic actions to slow the spread of the virus and protect every life we can. And these steps, while necessary, have come with enormous economic pain. And no industry has felt that pain more acutely than our restaurant industry. The steps we took last summer to expand outdoor dining beginning on Monday, June 15, allowed many restaurants to remain whole. Many had good seasons because we allowed them to convert parking lots, rooftops, decks, sidewalks, you name it, into places to eat. In some cases, streets. Those with liquor licenses could serve patrons off premises in these spaces. And again, I thank my legislative brothers and sisters here for pushing forward so many of those initiatives, as well as our local community leaders. Throughout the fall, relatively mild weather kept many of these outdoor dining areas busy, but as winter has now closed in, many restaurants are facing, if they weren't already, a dire season and a dire moment. So as of today, as of this morning, all of our restaurants can expand indoor dining to 35% of capacity, up from 25%, which I know is welcome. But I also know that without the added benefits of the outdoor spaces, margins will remain, if positive at all, will remain razor thin. We must give our restaurants more certainty for the future that will allow those that make it through this winter, and please God, I hope all do, or as many can as possible, to know that they can again lean on the outdoor expansions we allowed last summer to recoup what was lost and strengthen their business and secure the jobs they support. Again, I'm grateful to my legislative friends and leaders on this call, Senators Sarlo, Poe, and Gopal, and their colleagues, notably Senate President Steve Sweeney, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, and I mentioned Assembly members Eric Hotaling and Joanne Downey. I also want to thank Mary Lou and her colleagues at the Restaurant and Hospitality Association, Tom and Mike and their colleagues at the State Chamber of Commerce, the restaurant owners, and so many, many others. Our communities have supported our restaurants with takeout meals and visits when the weather has allowed, and many residents, I have to say, including me and my family, love the vibe that expanded outdoor dining has brought to our communities. Knowing the practices that we put in place in 2020 can continue into the spring and summer of 2021 and frankly 2022, and I hope beyond, and that this new law will help strengthen our restaurants as they recover from the pandemic as well, is a huge win for our post-COVID future. It's not tomorrow, but the light on the horizon is growing, and we will get through this. And when we do, we will have an economic bounce back, and no industry, period, will benefit more than our restaurant brothers and sisters. So, Marilyn, thank you for kicking us off today. Let me, if I may, ask each of our extraordinary legislators and senators to say a few words. Let's begin with Woodridge Mayor, Senator, Budget Chair, and great leader Paul Sarlo. Paul.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you to my colleagues and to Mary Lou from the Restaurant Association and Marilyn from the Restaurant Association for joining us and for your patience and cooperation through this process. I typically try not to be long-winded, especially at these bill signings to the point, but I feel passionate about some of this, so I apologize if I get a little long-winded on this Zoom call. But I will tell you this, Governor, I think we learned from last summer, back in June 15th of 2020, when we allowed outdoor dining. I don't think any of us could have imagined how successful and how creative our restaurants in New Jersey and our bar owners and our breweries, how creative they would really get. And then the investment they made in tents and heaters, electric outdoor, landscaping improvements, paving, site improvements, furniture. They made this huge capital investment to make sure that the patrons that were coming to their places were safe and were comfortable. And on top of that, I come at this from a lot of different perspectives. I'm the mayor of a town, and if I say this to all my mayors across the state of New Jersey: embrace your local restaurants, embrace them, support them, help prop them up during these difficult times. They're important to your communities. I come at this as the chief executive officer of a very large construction engineering company, where the owner of our company owns one or two restaurants, and I hear day in. By the way, Mr. Sinzari says hello, Governor. He's sitting down the hallway, but he says hello to you. I see the plight of those restaurants, and I come to this as somebody who enjoys, with my family and friends, to be able to go out and enjoy restaurants up and down the state of New Jersey. I enjoy making and spending disposable income in these places and supporting all the families that work. So I come at this from a bunch of different perspectives. I will say this to all of you. What we proved last summer is that we were able to do this safely. We were able to cut out some of the red tape and bureaucracy sometimes that we tend to create at the local government level and at the county level. And we work closely with the Department of Transportation, Commissioner Schetti, and her folks, with the county engineers and others, to make sure that the bill that we have drafted now will make sure we do not impact the pedestrian right-of-ways, the public right-of-ways, to ensure that we have safe ingress and egress, to make sure we comply with all the different fire codes. What we're essentially doing here is we're telling our restaurant owners in the state of New Jersey, spring, summer, fall 2021, spring, summer, fall 2022, get creative, use your outdoor areas, your parking lots, your rooftops, your balconies, continue to make those investments and improvements outdoors. People want to be outside. It's safer to be outside. Even post-pandemic, Governor, I enjoy sitting outside. I never thought I would sit outside as much as I do. Post-pandemic, we're all back to normal. I still want to be outside. So this allows them to recoup some of the losses that they've received, capitalize on some of the investments they made last summer, and gives them 2 years with a lot of certainty to plan ahead. Now I'm going to ask all of our residents and our mayors embrace this concept, work with these folks, and when the good weather comes around, get outdoors and enjoy a meal with friends and family. So, Governor, thank you. This is, I sponsor a lot of legislation on economic development, and this is a pro-economic development piece of legislation. There's no doubt about it.
Paul, thank you. So well said. Please give Joe a big hug for me. And you look good there with the State House background. No one would ever know. But seriously, thank you for championing this. This was a big one for you, I know, and everything you said. I frankly love, I did already, but now I've gone head over heels in love with eating outside. And this is only going to make that easier, allow restaurants to plan more, plan ahead. It's a home run piece of legislation. Thank you for leading, Paul. And by the way, speaking of leadership, another guy who cares passionately about this industry, and we wouldn't be where we are without him. Please help me welcome Senator Vin Gopal.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for including me in this, and to Chairman Sarlo for all he did and his passion. I take the perspective of the shore. In 2019, New Jersey had 116 million visitors, 46 billion to our state's economy. And a lot of that was at the shore. A lot of that was at our restaurants. We've done a lot in this pandemic, and a lot of that creativity comes from the restaurants. It was Ashley, the owner of the Grand Tavern, who came to me one day and said, "Why can't New Jersey do drinks to go? Why can't we do margaritas to go? Why can't we help these restaurants like other states do?" These restaurants have been extraordinarily creative, and I just want to thank the governor for signing the bill today, Senator Sarlo, Mary Lou, and Marilyn, who have been extraordinary. We're going to miss Mary Lou. Hopefully her successor is also a constituent of mine. She said she's going to try to guarantee that, but they've really been incredible, and outdoor dining is going to be the way for the future, and it's thanks to so many of these creative restaurants. Thank you, Governor.
Vin, amen. And you and I both know that our respective neighborhood really well. I think of Red Bank that shut off a big couple of blocks of Broad Street, and it was like a carnival atmosphere. And that sort of magic, this bill will allow us to capture that going forward. Vin, thank you for your leadership. And equally, Nellie Poe is consistently leading on some of the most important legislation that I end up signing, and I can't thank her enough for her leadership. Please help me welcome Senator Nellie Poe.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you so very much. I too want to take this opportunity to thank you for signing this very sorely needed legislation that we all, as you've heard here today, we all hope this will certainly streamline the process by which both our restaurants, our bars, our breweries, our distilleries certainly have the ability to expand their capacity to serve their patrons during this very trying time, and as it's been said, to improve their economic standing. I also want to thank my co-prime sponsors, Senator Sarlo and Senator Gopal. I know how passionate Senator Sarlo was in all of this. We've had many conversations on this issue. He worked really hard on this. I want to thank them for their commitment, their support, and working hard in getting this through. This was something that was quite discussed throughout the entire process from all regions of the state. So, and this particular bill is certainly going to make that difference. As it's been said, this law will certainly help our small and local businesses in the food and beverage industry, who are part of the lifeblood of our communities, who have suffered such a detrimental, impact during the restricted bar and restaurant hours brought on by the pandemic. And as Senator Sarlo said, and yourself, Governor, as we look towards the springtime, we certainly we must do all that we can to help these businesses survive and strive in the months ahead. Through the enactment of the law, we will certainly help our local bars and restaurants maintain their important economic footprint in big cities and in small towns, and enable them to continue hiring or rehiring staff that in turn will help to drive our overall, economy. I want to just lastly say, I want to thank and salute all of the businesses for fighting hard during these difficult times. I mean, fighting so hard to stay open during this time. I mean, it was a real challenge for all of them, but they did the very best and they were very creative. So with that, I just want to, salute them. Mary Lou, congratulations. Good luck to you. God bless you and whatever your future endeavors are to you and your family's. Best wishes. Marilyn, I say hello to you as well. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Thank you for what you're doing.
Nellie, thank you so much. And again, thank you for your leadership on this and on so many other critical pieces of legislation. I don't know where we'd be without any of the three of these extraordinary senators with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Mary Lou, you're on the move literally and figuratively. You're in the car.
Yep.
You got your furry friend Cyrus with you. And even when it was really challenging and we were going back and forth, you've been a complete pro to deal with. And we're going to miss you at the Restaurant Association. And we wish you nothing, as Nellie said, nothing but the very best in your next endeavors. But please, we wouldn't be here today without her help and input and support. Please help join me in welcoming Mary Lou Halverson from the Restaurant Association. Mary Lou.
Thank you, Governor. And yes, it's I may be leaving the Restaurant and Hospitality Association, but I will still be involved in New Jersey in my new role. And it is bittersweet. It's exciting. It's a new opportunity, but obviously, I love New Jersey the best. So thank you. I really just want to thank Senator Sarlo, Senator Poe, and my senator, Senator Gopal, and the entire New Jersey legislature for passing this critical legislation. It's so important. And thank you, Governor, for signing it. I appreciate it. And this will mean a lot to our industry, an industry that has been devastated like no other. And what this bill will do will give some predictability. It will give the businesses the opportunity to plan forward. It will also give our consumers and our guests the choice. As many of you said, our restaurants have been extremely creative in what they've been doing, and consumers really enjoy it. And it may take some time before people are comfortable going back inside as our occupancy increases. So this allows for our guests to have the choice of being able to dine inside or outside. And it also will give our employees the ability for our businesses to hire more employees because as they have that expanded footprint. So it could be more employment opportunities for the residents of New Jersey. So this bill really is a win-win for everyone. It's for the business community to expand their profit level and maybe recoup what they've lost. It will allow our guests to be able to dine and give them the options that they would want, and also more opportunity for employment for our residents of New Jersey who have also been devastated during this pandemic. So again, I want to thank all of you for your leadership, and let's just keep moving the state forward. So thank you.
Mary Lou, thank you so much. Mary Lou, are you comfortable in telling folks who are out there watching what your next moves are?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. I will be moving to the American Hotel and Lodging Association in Washington, D.C., the organization that represents the hotels, the branded hotels across the country. So I'll be doing some state relations and government affairs work. So you haven't seen the last of me.
That's awesome. God bless you. Congratulations. Thank you. And at the risk of offending Senators Sarlo and Poe, I will work with you and Senator Gopal to make sure that the next head stays in his district.
Governor, before you sign, can I just give a shout out to the Assembly real quick?
Yeah, please.
Of course, I work very closely with Senator Poe and Senator Gopal, but we know that sometimes when you've been in the legislature, sometimes as long as I've been, sometimes you lose track of all the different names on the Assembly, especially during a pandemic. We're so distant. And Assemblyman Roy Fryman was tremendous on this piece of legislation. First time I really worked with him on a piece of legislation. He was tremendous. He brought a great perspective from a businessman's to this, and also on the farm piece, the wineries and the brewery piece. He really brought a great perspective to this legislation. So I just want to give a shout out to Assemblyman Fryman.
Richly deserved. In fact, Paul, he's going to get one of the pens in a minute.
Thank you,
He
Governor.
couldn't join us, but hats off to Roy and his colleagues. So here's the bill, Senate Bill number 3340. And the top three names, by the way, are Paul Sarlo, Nellie Poe, and Vin Gopal. And the top assembly name is Roy Fryman, as Paul just said. And the synopsis, which I usually like to read, is the following: expands opportunities for restaurants, bars, distilleries, and breweries to provide outdoor dining and permits certain sales at seasonal farm markets in response to COVID-19 public health emergency. Really, really important piece of legislation, and I'm incredibly honored to sign it. You can't see it, but I'm going to start signing it right now. I won't show each one of these, but these are bona fide, legitimate Governor Phil Murphy pens that I'm using. So first pen, Marilyn, goes to you. Marilyn Schlossbach, operating partner of Whitechapel Projects. Marilyn, congratulations. Next up to bat, again, a guy I can't say enough good things about, Paul Sarlo, Senator. God bless you, and Mayor, congratulations. Next up, again, down from my neck of the woods, thank you, Vin Gopal, Senator, for your leadership on this. By the way, all these will be sterilized before you get them, so I promise you will be observing all the COVID protocols. Next up, again, Nellie, can't thank you enough. Senator Nellie Poe, bless you and thank you. Mary Lou, we will miss you, but we know we'll still see a lot of you. The CEO, Mary Lou Halverson of the New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association, thank you for everything. And as Paul rightfully pointed out, I will round out the pens with one in absentia for our friend and a great leader on this and so many other bills, Assemblyman Roy Fryman. So this is, as they say, let me just get this organized properly. This is now the law of the land. Thank you all so much, Marilyn Schlossbach. Thank you, Senator Paul Sarlo, Senator Vin Gopal, Senator Nellie Poe, and Mary Lou Halverson, and everybody out there watching. Here's to our restaurants. Better days are coming, and this bill will only make those better days even stronger than they otherwise would have been. Take care, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Governor. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.